and just think outside the box and get the views.
Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time.
Boxing is the best, the purest, the most beautiful sport in the world when the best fight the best.
I mean, I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you got to close it out. That's fine.
Us fighters who get in the ring and risk our lives, you know, there's enough pie for everyone to pass around.
When a boxer starts tasting those 7 or 8 figure paydays near the twilight of his career, Oscar De La Hoya says a mistake is almost guaranteed. To seal his legacy, Terence Crawford climbed the highest mountain and took down Canelo Alvarez. But according to De La Hoya, that victory created a brand new, massive problem. We'll break down Oscar's sharp warning to Crawford and why a fight with Jermall Charlo is far more than just a tough matchup. It's easy to criticize something after it's over, but Oscar De La Hoya was one of the few who boldly predicted Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez.
Crawford versus Canelo, which I feel Crawford will win.
Yeah. Okay.
But it'll be a great fight.
Yeah.
In his talk with Ariel Helwani, Oscar said the result didn't surprise him one bit. He hadn't just chosen the winner. He'd already seen the story unfold in his mind, understanding exactly why it would happen days before the first bell even rang.
I'm impressed with Terence. Yeah.
I
was not surprised at all. I mean, I called it, I don't know how many days before.
De La Hoya, who had backed Canelo for years, said, "I know Canelo. I know him inside and out, exactly what he can take, and what he simply can't handle.
I know Canelo. I promoted him. I know exactly what he cannot handle and what he can handle, where he looks great and where he doesn't." And Crawford was the perfect opponent or fighter to derail the train. That was the bottom line. You move on Canelo just a little bit, and he gets lost.
He was confident in his call when the Canelo train came off the tracks, because he knew exactly why it would. And now, is using that same insight to warn Crawford about what has to come next. This wasn't a wild guess. It was the judgment of a master surgeon who understood every flaw in the fighter's makeup before anyone else did, and exploited them perfectly. Keep that in mind as you hear what he says next. What did De La Hoya see as the final flaw? It wasn't power or chin. Oscar explained it clearly. Canelo loses his rhythm when his opponent moves. His feet stay planted, turning him into an easy target for a calculated technician like Crawford.
God, it makes me horny.
Yeah, baby.
To tell you I told you so.
I told you.
I predicted the Canelo Crawford fight like a goddamn fortune teller.
You're the Oracle?
Canelo's feet were cemented on the canvas as he was hitting air. What the f was that? Props to Crawford.
Thank you.
He came up 3 weight classes and fought a beautiful fight.
Good job.
What a great performance.
Did you get what you was looking for?
Like taking candy from a baby.
Oscar said again on Clapback Thursday that Crawford wasn't just beating Canelo. He was toying with him, making him look foolish. He fired back at critics, reminding everyone that Crawford is the older man here, and he wasn't having any excuses about Canelo suddenly being past his prime.
Played with Canelo, made him look silly. And before you start with your shit about Canelo being old, just know that Crawford is older.
I'm too old.
That's not an excuse here. Look, I promoted Canelo's entire career.
Put some respect on it.
And it was a huge flop.
How do you like them, Max?
The only real fighters he's faced were Mayweather, Bivol, and Crawford. And they all toyed with.
This moment matters because it highlights the sharp contrast between Crawford's skill and Canelo's particular vulnerability. Crawford's victory came from exploiting a precise flaw in his opponent's game. But the danger now is clear. His next challenger might not share that same weakness.
And it'll silence a lot of doubters. Not all of them, but it'll silence a lot of doubters. And he can move on to the next challenge. And then that next challenge is possibly a top 10 in the world.
I think the smaller Charlo could be even more dangerous. The smaller Charlo has speed and fights harder, and he's in your face. It's a great payday for him, and he's obviously he took that into consideration when making the decision. It's going to be a tough task. I mean, 2 weight divisions is historical if he wins, and 2 weight divisions if he loses, he has the perfect excuse. I moved up 2 weight divisions.
It often turns out to be the only real way to beat a specific opponent, and there's no escaping that truth. When Ariel Helwani asked De La Hoya if Crawford would walk away as champion, Oscar's answer was simple: no. Why? Because once you taste those 7 or 8 figures, you start looking for something new. And that, he says, is Crawford's biggest threat. Not a punch, not a right hook, not even a weight class. It's the trap. Oscar explained that when a fighter hits those massive paydays late in their career, mistakes follow. He's seen this story before. You stop chasing the title and start admiring your bank balance. The real mistake isn't skipping training. It's when, who, and why you fight, and how money quietly dulls that hunger. It changes everything.
Crawford afterwards hinting at maybe retirement. Do you think he retires? No.
Not at all.
Now he's making the big bucks, right?
Well, now he has a taste of 7 figures, you know, 8 figures, whatever it might be. Once you get a taste of that, towards the end of your career, you're going to make a few mistakes.
The lesson to hold on to is this: recognize the moment your hunger shifts from chasing greatness to chasing money. That's when the danger creeps in. Take a step back, Terence Crawford. You're on top of the world. The calls keep coming. Every deal looks massive, and you start to believe you can't lose. But this, De La Hoya warned, is exactly when a fight with Jermall Charlo could happen. That mistake has Charlo's name written all over it. Oscar said Crawford could easily pick the wrong opponent and pay the price. Why Charlo? Because he's more dangerous than Canelo. He won't be caught off guard. He's sitting strong at 154 pounds, fueled by revenge from his loss to Canelo, and ready to prove a point. Here's the definition of a trap fight, the kind seasoned champions overlook, thinking it's just another big payday, until it's too late.
Hey, what's up, guys? Canelo Charlo, super boring fight. I mean, he just showed up for a paycheck. Canelo, obviously, like I said, on quicksand, throwing bombs. He won easy. But anyway, look, if we want boxing to survive, if we want boxing to thrive, we need super fights, like all the time. Fighters must fight each other. We have to come together. Promoters, Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, whoever's out there, let's come together. I'm calling you out. Let's come together. Let's meet the power of the minds and come up with something, because boxing can die. I'm calling you all out. Let's do.
Crawford's challenge isn't just Charlo's skill. It's the temptation to relax, to get careless after a fight that seemed almost effortless. But there's another danger here: his health. Don't overlook Jermall Charlo. He's already tasted what it's like to face a true super middleweight, the kind of power that humbles even the best. After his loss to Canelo, Charlo spoke with brutal honesty, admitting that Canelo was a monster who punishes mistakes. He said part of it was because it was his first time at that weight, and he even admitted he wished he'd come in heavier, stronger, more prepared for the storm.
Boxing, so I'm not going nowhere, and just jump right into it. And Canelo's a motherfucking beast. You know what I'm saying? He an ox. Maybe I felt that more because of the fact that this is my first time at that weight division. I wish I could have gained a little bit more weight in between from the weigh-in to that time, but I can't control my body, and I can't, but like God had this already written, and I'm glad that I was in there with to put on the performance for Showtime pay-per-view.
In your perspective, why don't you think he could have stopped Charlo?
No, he could have stopped Charlo. He should have. I mean, first of all, you had a fighter who was there just for the payday, literally. I mean, he's in the biggest stage of his life. Go out there and take some risks. Fight hard. People paid their money. People buy it on pay-per-view. Fight hard, because when you fight hard, you don't lose anything. When it's a great fight, there's no loser.
Charlo's greatest weapon now is the experience he's earned. He knows exactly what real power at 168 feels like. Crawford, who began his journey at just 135 pounds, might have handled Canelo, but Charlo has adapted to that same storm. When Charlo spoke about Canelo's strength, it wasn't just reflection. It was a warning to Crawford. Asterisk, you haven't learned how to use that kind of power yet. Asterisk, that fight grounded Charlo, made him a tougher, more dangerous version of himself. De La Hoya, meanwhile, was furious about how that Canelo Charlo matchup played out. He said Charlo showed up only for the paycheck, not the risk.
Despite what anybody say, that's a 50-50 fight. Canelo got good inside game, but he gonna have to get past Charlo long arms. And Charlo, he can use his reach good. He's strong. He got a good jab. It's a toss up with me.
That's going. Charlo got that punching power. I'm just gonna say that.
I think Charlo's gonna take it. The reason why I say that is because he's just on another level.
But that very criticism is what makes Charlo so dangerous right now. The big paycheck's already cleared, and the sting of that lifeless performance still burns. The Charlo who steps in against Crawford won't be the same man who faced Canelo. This time, he'll be desperate for redemption, with nothing to lose and everything to prove. That version of Charlo keeps champions up at night. Crawford outsmarted Canelo by exploiting a fighter who was too predictable, too comfortable. But Charlo, fighting for his pride, reckless, hungry, and unpredictable, is an entirely different beast. It's simple. Never underestimate a man who's been publicly humbled and came back with a lesson burned into his soul.
Elite level. So I think it's a great fight. I just think that the press conferences were freaking lame.
Why?
Just because it was all staged. I mean, come on, guys. Look, if you want to see Canelo pissed off, take a look at my press conference. Right now, with Munguia and Canelo. That's Canelo pissed off.
You've also got to think about the other story making waves online. One pushed hard by outlets like Boxing Ego. This theory claims Crawford's entire resume is built on damaged goods. They say he beat a washed-up Ricky Burns, a 5 feet 5 inches Gamboa fighting above his weight, a Jose Benavidez who'd been shot in the leg, a Kell Brook whose shattered eye sockets left him half-blind, and an Errol Spence still recovering from a near-fatal car crash and eye surgery. Some even argue that the Canelo he beat was past his prime, slower, not the same beast. If you buy into that theory, then Charlo, healthy, bigger, and not fresh off a life-altering injury, might be Crawford's first truly dangerous opponent in his physical prime. But let's crush that damaged goods narrative right now. It's false. The one thing that trumps all of that is fight IQ. A Reddit thread once nailed it. Canelo only struggles against fighters with higher ring intelligence, guys like Mayweather, Bivol, and now Bud Crawford. That's the truth. Crawford doesn't just win over time. He systematically dismantles minds. He doesn't beat fighters. He breaks them. People love throwing around that damaged goods excuse, but the real story is Crawford's brain. That's his deadliest weapon, and he'll need every ounce of it against Charlo. The real question isn't about his resume. It's whether his IQ can once again decode an opponent who's naturally bigger, stronger, and desperate to redeem himself. Oscar, meanwhile, didn't mince words about the Canelo-Charlo fight. It was dull, he said. During the entire fight, they threw just one real punch.
Yeah, we saw Oscar De La Hoya trying to say that the fight was going to take place maybe in the daytime.
Yeah, this is what I want from you, to say his name. I decide with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick, and after that we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. You waste, Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time with this question. Of course, this is in the beak. This is the boxing, the sport #1 in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
However, Crawford's camp would be making a huge mistake if they watched that tape and assumed Charlo was a timid fighter. Why did Charlo fight Canelo that way? Because the power, the pressure, and the weight all intimidated him. Against Crawford, that fear disappears. He sees Bud as someone closer to his own size. That flat, lifeless performance wasn't who Charlo really is. It was an outlier. As De La Hoya himself pointed out, the man who fought Canelo was a shell-shocked version chasing a paycheck. The one Crawford would face is the real Jermall Charlo, the undisputed warrior, not the passive shadow we saw before. Underestimating that version would be a serious mistake. And what De La Hoya said about money, that's just the opening act. The real chaos unfolds outside the ropes, where promoter wars, betrayals, and billion-dollar lawsuits create a battlefield of their own. And like it or not, all that behind-the-scenes turmoil seeps into the ring, shaping the fights before the first bell even rings.
You posted on social media the other day, you're kind of fired up about the Canelo fight. Why didn't you like that fight?
Because it was boring.
What?
I mean, when a fighter throws one punch, when two fighters throw one punch in one round, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I'm a fighter who has been in there, in the line of fire, throwing 100 punches around. Like, the fans want to be entertained. So that was my critique, is coming from a fighter, coming from a world champion.
De La Hoya himself set the tone, calling the undercard for Canelo versus Crawford a complete waste of money for the fans. He didn't hold back, saying the matchmakers behind it should be fired on the spot.
I just, look, the fact that a new entity is coming into boxing and already wants to change a bill that has been in place for decades that protects fighters, to me, is shady. That's the bottom line. I mean, think about it. It's shady. The first thing you want to do is change the law, change the rule, the Muhammad Ali Act, which protects the fighters. I instantly think about what they did with the UFC. I instantly think about the UFC signing hundreds, if not thousands of fighters, and they don't even see the light of day. There's total transparency with the bill. You're obligated as a promoter to disclose, everything that might be in the pot. The fighters call it the pot. And you're obligated to disclose, the financial status of your event, of the fighter's event. If you're a main event fighter, a championship fighter, you have every right to look at the books. And with this amendment, they're gonna try and eliminate that.
Bad blood and constant feuds between promoters are poisoning the sport, leading to weak undercards and slowing boxing's momentum. De La Hoya also shared his disappointment over Showtime's exit from boxing, saying it's a loss for the game, but one that might open doors to new opportunities for others.
I was proud that boxing was on Netflix, just being a purist of the sport. You feel proud. I was not happy with the matchups. I mean, what I saw the week of the Canelo fight, they tried doing some contender boxing stuff. You're having precious contenders, right? Who I know can become world champions 3, 4, 5 years down the road. They're getting eliminated and beat. And you're never gonna hear from them again. That's not fair to the fighter. Now, if that's fair business to them, more power to them. Let them build whatever league they're trying to build. It's okay. Boxing here is safe with me and Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, the serious guys in the sport. The guys who respect the history and the honor that comes with it. You have a global platform, Netflix, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Every fight that a new audience is gonna watch should have been a known name, should have been champion versus champion. The matchup should have been better. I thought it was a slow night, completely a slow night. It was still great for boxing because it's out there and people are watching all over the world, but...
With TKO stepping in, Showtime bowing out, and promoters locked in lawsuits, the sport feels leaderless. No one's really in control anymore.
With Bob Arum yesterday, is there anything you could share about that meeting, what you guys have going during the press conference?
Yeah, there's really no details I can mention, but let's just say that some really big fights are going to happen very soon. And that's why I called out all promoters like Eddie Hearn, like Al Heyman, who's probably going to be impossible to talk to because nobody ever sees him. But we want to bring promoters together to work together and just create and the biggest fights possible for the fans. That's all I want to do, and that's what boxing deserves.
For a fighter like Crawford, that chaos hits where it hurts most. His 8-figure paydays are now at risk. He might be forced to take a risky fight like Charlo just to keep the money flowing, instead of waiting for the perfect matchup. The madness outside the ring starts bleeding into the job itself, turning his career into a balancing act between danger and survival.
And I just think that without that rule there, without that clause there, or wiping out the Muhammad Ali Act, the fighter is vulnerable. The fans are not gonna watch real boxing, and real boxing is the best talent that's developed fighting the very best talent. They're never gonna see that because they're gonna eliminate each other in their first fight, second fight, and guess what? If you don't win the second fight, you're gonna be shelved, just like the UFC does with their fighters.
Is Charlo even the right fight? Oscar doesn't think so. He warned, "You've got to pay attention to the shark swimming beneath Crawford." Time, he said, is Crawford's biggest enemy now. Fighters like Ennis, Boots, and Virgil Ortiz, they're the ones he can't afford to ignore. Every choice matters at this stage. At 38, Crawford's clock is ticking fast, and those young, hungry lions are circling, ready to take everything he's built the moment he slows down.
Knows his next move,
right?
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. But get 60 and you got to close it off. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see the future
I
for him?
don't know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that.
De La Hoya says Crawford has no choice. If he truly wants greatness, he has to face them, even if it means risking that perfect record. The real battle isn't in the ring. It's with his own legacy. Is Crawford willing to risk everything he's built just to be remembered as one of the greats?
Chance the winner of that fight fights Terence Crawford. I know he's 160.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Because that would be the next massive fight.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, imagine that. That would be the next massive fight. But then you have guys who are, the gatekeepers like Fundora.
Yeah.
Who's an amazing champion. I don't know how marketable that fight can be. We have to go through the system. And the system is WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBF. Because fighters, first of all, love fighting for world titles. That's the bottom line. And you cannot erase that